And we're live. Okay, welcome everyone. This is the inaugural episode of the Sci-Fi Imaginarium podcast. I am your host, Nick Chase, and we are here with Kirsten Strohmer of the Chronicles. Welcome to the show.
Hello, thank you very much, Nick, for having me.
Thank you so much for joining us here on our very first episode. I'm going to confess to everyone right now why we asked Kirsten to come on the show for the first episode, and that is I am obsessed with this program. Now, you probably have not heard of it. What it is well, why should I explain it? I have Kate Hawk herself here. So, Kirsten, tell us about the Hawk Chronicles.
Well, the Hawk Chronicles, I play Detective Kate Hawk. The Hawk Chronicles really is a story of fighting crime in the very beginning to very quickly escalating to fighting crime in the stars, and it's about the relationship between Detective Kate Hawk and her older partner, Detective Jim Barnes. And it all starts in Little Italy in Baltimore, and that's where her beat is. And she, that we have a stip that crash lands into Little Italy onto the roof and one of the buildings down there, and it actually turns out to be a portal to another galaxy. And what's fun about it is the fact that the writer Steve Long has used the backdrop in the very beginning of Cambridge, which is where I grew up, and which is where he has lived for many years. And one of the stip, the actual, what I see is an actual monument from Cambridge at the marina. So anybody who is listening to the Hawk Chronicles in Cambridge, they'll go, I know what they're doing. You know, they're familiar with it. So there's a connection between the beginning of the story and where they live. And anybody who really knows that place down there at the marina in Cambridge, it was a device that FDR actually used to move up and down the ship when it visited Cambridge. And it's there. It's an actual monument. And Steve Long had written it into the story. And that's how it appears to me in the beginning. And so as we go along, I'm actually looking for my father, who has been, I don't want to divulge too much, but is locked up. Is locked up in space, and I'm on the trek to find him, get his escape. And well, actually, I don't know if he's going to escape or not. I'm not going to tell you that. But it's the whole process of the character development of the detectives and the other people in the story. They really and they're acted by locals, people that Steve and I both know, that have connections to his other side hobby, which is his TARDIS photo booth that he takes to different cons and Comic-Cons and whatnot.
Right. So now let's kind of back up a little. And there's one very basic piece of information. So if you are wondering why you haven't seen this, nobody's seen this. It is radio.
It's a radio drama.
It is an audio drama over the web. So the sky's the limit, because you don't have to worry about what it costs to, I don't know, for those of you who may remember the old Monty Python sketch, and then in a scene that was so expensive you'd never in your life see it in a low budget show like this. You don't have to worry about that. So the sky's the limit on this kind of stuff.
Right. We actually, pardon the pun, we actually broadcast every Friday on the local radio station, their AM station, and 12:30 every Friday, except for the first Friday of every month when there's some political programming. But we also have our own website, hawkchronicles.com. So any episode that you missed, you can catch up with. And if you still want to listen to it on the radio and get that lot, you know, when it's actually being broadcast on the radio, and you're out of the area, the broadcast area, you can stream it. So we have 3 different ways people actually have access to it. Our website, hawkchronicles.com, the actual radio station, Radio 1240 WCEM AM, and the stream.
No, that's pretty awesome. And the episodes themselves are only what, like 7 minutes long, something like that?
Oh, well, a little bit longer than that. I would say maybe about 10 or 15 minutes. And then with the radio, you've got commercials built in, so it's a half-hour show. But yeah, you're about right, about 10 minutes.
It's not a it's not a huge chunk out of your life.
No, not a huge investment of time. If you are a sci-fi nut, if you just like a story that develops and that you can stay on top of and be waiting for the, you know, at the end of every episode, there's a cliffhanger. So you're waiting for the next.
Right.
It's real. It's fun. You know, what's going to happen next week? What's going to happen next week? So it's just using your imagination and listening and having a good time with an old-fashioned genre that uses today's technology.
Exactly. And that is what I enjoy about it, because I'm a story guy. Those of you who know me, I'm, you know, I never complain about effects. I never complain about anything like that. I'm the guy going, they can't do that. That's, you know, you can't use the bootstrap paradox unless you are going to come back and make that a really big thing at the end of the season and find out why that was a terrible idea, so you never do it again. But I'm not bitter. Anyway, but no, but it is a really great kind of harkening back to. There's a reason those old audio dramas, you know, gave rise to the old soap operas and so on and so forth. How did you get involved in this?
Well, I used to work in radio. That's where I met. Well, that's where I grew to know Steve more than I do. Steve Long, the writer, the creator of the Hawk Chronicles. And I had done a lot of voiceovers at the radio station where I worked. And I continued to do commercials. But I really wanted to get into that industry. And so I guess you could say, as a labor of love, he started writing the Hawk Chronicles. And there was a never-ending it was just a wealth of talent that he knew that could be part of it, could voice the characters that he was writing. And so with my relationship at the radio station, earlier this year, we made it so that we could actually broadcast it. So on a good old AM station, there it comes every Friday at 12:30. And I'm basically egotistical. I like to hear myself talk.
And you're available for jobs if anybody wants you.
I certainly am. I am.
So if anybody wants to hire Kirsten Strohmer for commercials or, you know, for any other voice work, you know, just go to hawkchronicles.com. You've got plenty of samples. You know, you can see not just her voice, but her acting. Now you actually do acting. It's not just, you know.
Well, it's voice acting. I mean, you can't just read the script. You have to, over the mic, you've got to know what's going on in a scene. And and voice acting is different from reading a commercial. I mean, it's definitely something that you have to get into. You have to be part of you. You have to be the character. The character has to be you. And a lot of times, things that I have about my character, my personal, as Kirsten Strohmer character, Steve will write into Kate Hawk. And so when I'm going along and I'm reading through the script, I know Steve, he knows that I say that. That's why he wrote that. So it's actually quite natural. And I can just, you know, you become the person, and then you are really acting.
Yeah. Speaking of that, I did do an interview with Steve before we started the podcast, so that's going to appear probably either in just plain audio or in text format. But one of the things that I talked to him about is he did say that, you really inadvertently sort of shaped the plot because he wrote something for Kate to do, and you looked and said, oh, well, she wouldn't do that.
Right. Yeah. Yes. There were a couple of times where I said, yeah, let's not do that. I don't like the way that sounds. Or, nah, Kate wouldn't do that. She would do this. So it's, maybe it was, well, Kirsten wouldn't do that. Kirsten would do this. So it just comes to life that way.
Well,
but no.
Yeah. No, it's interesting because I've been talking to Steve about the story, and I said, well, you might want to consider doing this and this and this. And he said, well, Kate's dad is based on Kirsten's dad. So I don't know how Kirsten would feel about that. I'm not going to tell you what I was suggesting or why, but so how does that feel to kind of have him based on your dad? I mean, how does that work?
Well, a couple of things, it makes me feel a couple of ways. One is in the script or in the Chronicles, my father's name is Horace, and that was his birth name, though that was not what everybody called him. They called him Tom or Tommy. But I see Horace, and it's just so, I have such a connection, obviously, with the name, even though,
Right.
heck, I never called him Tom. I called him Daddy. So it's, but I know the name Horace, and I know that was his birth name. But secondly, there are times when I am voicing Kate Hawk and coming to a script where I'm talking about my father, and I'm either talking to Jim, Detective Barnes, or Pierman, or any character in the script, and it's almost like I really am talking about my father. It's like I really am emotionally angry about what has happened to my father. Now, if that is crazy, maybe it is. If but it also helps. It's just kind of transferring my father into this character that Steve has written into the script. Right. So I get emotional certain times, whether I might be angry or whether I might be combative about something that has to do with my father. In my head, when I'm voice acting it is my father that I'm talking about, Tom.
Right. Right.
The real Horace.
Although, of course, he is not, imprisoned somewhere in another galaxy.
No, he's not.
At least to the best of your knowledge.
No, and never has been, no.
That's good. So, I mean, this is not just, but see, now this is not just voice acting. This is voice acting within a sort of hybrid genre as well, because it's sort of a film noir type story on top of that. So how do you adjust to that?
I between this type of delivery and watching a lot of Law and Order and having voiced commercials in different accents, voices, characterizations, trying to understand what the client wants to get across in the commercial, I get a feel for what the mood is, and I just go with it. Right. That's basically it. I just go with it. And plus with Steve's writing, I know what he's trying to get at, so I just follow his lead that he has written. Gotcha. If that makes any sense.
No, that makes perfect sense. Mm-hmm. So are you part of the geekdom that is fandom, or you just happen to know Steve?
I am very new to all of it. Very, very new. Okay. And I happen to know Steve, and but it is a definite niche audience, and very loyal and very passionate.
Very much so.
And I'm just hoping that the Hawk Chronicles gets to that group, every group. But if that particular group, like yourself, likes the Hawk Chronicles, then I want everybody to hear it. As many in that group, that group that you're talking about. What did you call it? Geekdom?
I had said geekdom. The geekdom that is fandom. I don't know why I
Fandom.
said that.
Okay.
Just sort of invented that right now. Sorry. Fandom really is the word.
Right. I want as many in the fandom to know about us, because I think they'll like it.
I think so too. This is, for those of you, let me just kind of back up for a second. Let me tell you just a little bit about Steve. We're talking about Steve Long here, the creator and writer and producer. Well, I don't know if he's producing it, but the creator and writer of the Hawk Chronicles. Steve runs the TARDIS photo booth, and you may have seen the TARDIS photo booth if you've been to a convention anywhere in the sort of mid-Atlantic area. Basically, he has a TARDIS. That is literally a photo booth. You go in, you get pictures taken. It's like the old-time photo booths, where you make faces and the pictures come out in a strip and stuff. But he's a lot of fun, and he's obviously a big Doctor Who fan. And but the thing about the show is, it is kind of a crossover thing. It does have a large science fiction element to it, obviously, and it also has, but it is a crime drama and a soap opera.
It is very much so, and Steve keeps it real as far as history goes.
He does
as close as he can, and I think he has consulted you on some science questions.
That is correct.
And so the things that, of course, it's fiction, but it's based on.
God, I hope so.
But it is. I mean, when there's history involved, he plays around a little bit with it, but it's historical fiction, and it's based on things that have happened.
Right, and his science actually is very good.
I know he works hard at it.
He does. He works very hard at it, and I haven't caught him at anything yet.
Feel happy to know that.
No, that's good. So that's always a good thing. But all right. So are you going to? Did you get Star Wars tickets yet? If you're new to the fandom,
but I heard that they're online.
Oh yes,
they're selling them now.
Yes, they started on Monday night. So now, for those of you who have not yet bought tickets, what are you waiting for? There were so many. So our science fiction news of the week, of course, is Star Wars tickets went on sale on Monday night, and there were so many people trying to buy tickets that they crashed Fandango.
Yeah,
and I know, because I spent 4 hours trying to buy tickets on Fandango Monday night. Yes,
did you get them?
I got them.
Oh,
I got them. 7 o'clock Thursday night. Woohoo!
Good for you.
Here's the thing. You know what? I saw Star Wars when I was 9 years old. Okay. It was just me and, my parents, but they don't count because, they were just going because I was too young to go by myself. And then when The Phantom Menace came out, it was me and my wife and my son, who was a couple of years older, but about the same age that I was when Star Wars came out. And then on Monday night, I bought tickets for me and my wife and my son and his wife and his 2 children, the oldest of which is 9 years old. So it was like, wow, that is really something. I mean, talk about a multi-generational
come full circle, right?
Yeah.
It is.
So it's really something. I'm just glad John Williams lived long enough to score the music for this film. Oh my God, that's a terrible thing I just said.
But the movie doesn't even come out until when?
December
February?
18th.
Oh, December. Okay.
December 18th is the official opening day, but people who were very persistent were able to get tickets as early as 7 p.m. Thursday
That's you.
evening. Yes. Yes,
Okay.
thank you. I don't know if that means you could get them at 4 p.m. in California. I don't know. All I know is I told my wife, Sarah Jane, who, by the way, is the editor-in-chief and publisher of Sci-Fi Imaginarium, that if I couldn't get tickets Thursday night, I wasn't going online until I'd seen it Friday morning. Because I have spent 2 years avoiding spoilers.
Right. You
And
do
I'm
not want it to be messed up. You don't want to mess yourself up with this.
Yes.
You want it to be a pure experience.
Pure. When the first trilogy came out, I was running a science fiction magazine. So I knew everything.
Oh, I
And
see.
so I was not able to avoid spoilers then.
Mm-hmm.
But now she's running it, so I don't have to do anything. I can just,
Good.
sit back and let her get all the news. And she's like, "Oh my God!" I'm like, "Don't tell me anything." So anyway, so what are you most looking forward to about being involved in this? Now that we've digressed.
Well, what am I most looking forward? Well, I'm most looking forward to continuing it. We've been, we just were made it to the semifinals of the Audioverse Awards.
I didn't ask you beforehand, so I was afraid to ask. Explain what that is.
Well, we were nominated in 8 categories in the Audioverse Awards.
That's awesome.
And then it went voting, which the deadline was last night at 11:59. So fingers crossed. Hopefully, we made it to the next round.
Right.
And we'll go from there. But we were voted for. Well, Steve was voted for engineering, production. We were voted as best new short serial production, best serial production. Steve was voted as best leading actor. I was voted best leading actress. John Macinta was voted as best actor in a supporting role. So we got voted for 8 different categories. I'm very excited about it.
That is very awesome.
Yeah. Prior to that, we were voted. We were in the Geeky Awards in LA.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and no, we didn't win anything. But what we found, and it was good to know, good experience, that by and large there are a lot of different productions out there that are not G-rated, that are if you're an adult, it's okay, but you can't. It will never be broadcast on mainstream radio. Like the Chronicles is G-rated, so we are on the radio. We can be listened to by anyone, anywhere.
It is totally family safe. I will vouch for that.
Yes, and so that's wonderful to know that our audience is larger because of that. But what am I most looking forward to is continuing and maybe getting some recognition for it. I mean, we have had press releases go out about our production, and of course, we've had people contact us about it, and local news has done a piece on us, and Steve gets, if he's in a social environment, people come up to him and say, "Hey, I know what happened." They're into it because they're following it. Yes. And people who listen to the radio station, they have mentioned it to employees of the station about our show, how they enjoy it. So it's getting out there, it's getting around. Of course, I would like it to go even further, and have our little town of Cambridge have a huge thing happen because of us, because of local talent who, I got a mixer, hooked it up to my laptop, and off I went, into the microphone. Steve is at mixing all of us from different places into one show, and sound effects, and making it seem fluid. So props to him, huge props to him. I mean, he's extremely talented. Everything that he does. He's even had I mean, of course, he's got a lot of contacts, and so we've had some international voice actors be part of our little team, and it just keeps growing that way. So from what began as a small group of friends from the TARDIS photo booth Doctor Who family has really grown into a wide circle of people who are really interested in science fiction.
Oh yes, definitely. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and it's amazing because you say that a lot of these were amateur voice actors,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody on the show, sounds like an amateur. There's
Mm-hmm.
one. I will give you a sort of almost kind of mini spoiler, guys. The one that you think sounds like an amateur, just watch him. Okay. And you know what I'm talking about, don't you, Kirsten?
I do know what you're talking about.
Because I listened to it and I went, now, wait a minute. I said, either this is a red herring or... And I was very pleased.
That's a very good synopsis of that.
Yeah, because I was pleased with myself because I was like, So when you guys listen to it, you look and you go, oh, I know that's what he was talking about. Now, what's that all about? And that's the beauty of this, is there's a lot of moments when you look and you go, now what's that all about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I will say something for the show. I'm going to gush a little bit about the show here for just a minute because I have to. I did confess at the beginning I was obsessed with this show, right? But what's nice is I read a lot of fiction. I read a lot of fan fiction. I read a lot of good fan fiction. I read a lot of bad fan fiction. And the thing is that I really do. I don't know why I punish myself like that, but I do. The thing is that sometimes it's hard to really enjoy a story because you spend half your time going, now is that clever or is it stupid? And the nice thing is about this show is you can trust that no, it's not stupid. Maybe it is clever, but it's not stupid. You know where I'm coming from.
It's extremely clever. It
is very clever. Steve, who also plays Detective Barnes, has done an awesome job coming up with a scenario that really lends itself to this particular hybrid modern noir genre. And you guys do a terrific job.
Right. So, thank you. It's almost like its own category now. It's like film noir, but it's modern. Well, you just said modern noir.
Yeah, modern noir. Yeah.
Is that
I don't know if it
genre?
Is.
I like it.
I just made it up.
We are the Hawk Chronicles.
If somebody else is great,
modern noir.
Modern noir. There you go. So, anyway, all right. Well, so was there anything else that you wanted to add before we wrap up?
Well, I just want to tell people to listen. hawkchronicles.com, www.hawkchronicles.com. And we have, I believe, 25 episodes on there now. So you can catch up, and we're spitting them out. I mean, there's no end. So yes. Don't fear that if you get hooked, you'll be disappointed because we've stopped. We're not stopping. So
I know because I have seen the script for up to episode 45.
Oh, okay. So you know.
So I know
we're running full steam.
So yes,
that's what I would like your viewers to know is that we are still very strong and very into it and excited to continue recording the episodes and putting them on the air every week and on our website hawkchronicles.com. It's fun, it's clean, it's clever, and it is accurate. I mean, as much as we can make it accurate. Again, it's about space and jail and prison and But there are things that lend to its credibility, and that would be the scientific writing that is involved in it.
Yes, and it's done very well. And if people want to contact you for a job,
yes,
where should they contact you?
My email address, perfect. My email address is
let's not do that. Let's
no?
not do
Okay,
that.
okay.
Let's not do that because
They can go through you.
I was going to say, send us an email at contact at scifiimaginarium.com,
okay.
and we will pass it on to Kirsten. I don't want to.
See, I was so trusting. I was so trusting of your fans.
I was like, oh, no, wait, let's not do. Oh, it's not our fans that I worry about.
It's true. Yeah.
Any other random people.
True.
That happen to. I don't want to.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
Yeah, the fans I don't worry about.
Contact
it's the
Nick.
Other crazy people I worry about. No, our fans are great. Science fiction fans are great. It's the people who are not so great that I worry about.
But thank you very much for this opportunity. I truly do appreciate it, and getting the word out about the Hall Chronicles, and I'm excited, super thrilled at how much you like the show yourself.
I do.
And that's fantastic. So it's for people like you who we keep doing it for, and we know there are plenty of you out there.
Well, and thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show with us, and we wish you best of luck, and hopefully you have made it into the next round on the awards.
Cross your fingers.
All right. Well, thank you all, and we will see you next time on the Sci-Fi Imaginarium podcast. All right.